and we are going to talk about flow. If you haven't heard of flow before, this is life-changing. Hi everyone, welcome to Dinosaur Life, a place where we live life to the fullest. We are in the planet series here on my channel, and today is my favorite planet. It is Neptune. Neptune was named after the Roman god of the sea. So today I want to channel that ocean water vibe, and we are going to talk about flow. If you haven't heard of flow before, this is life-changing. And if you have heard of it, then this is a good time for us to reflect on how this has impacted our lives. Grab your pen and your journal. Let's get started. We'll begin our session with just a few deep breaths. Now I will title my page and attempt to watercolor the planet Neptune. Difficult to do because maybe you knew in the 90s there was a giant blue spot, which was a swirling storm on Neptune, and that storm is no longer there. So, should I draw a 90s Neptune or 2020s Neptune? I don't know. What I want to journal about today is the concept called flow. It was invented by Professor Csikszentmihalyi, spelled like this. When I was 24 and I discovered, when I was reading his book, I felt that it was very important for me to know how to say his name. So now I will never forget how to say Csikszentmihalyi. That is who founded this. All right, so here's the brief rundown. I want you to draw a little chart in your paper with two axes, like an X and a Y. Are we math people in here? I'm very much a math person. The bottom axes you're going to label skill or skill level. Then that vertical axis is titled challenge level. Csikszentmihalyi's research shows that when your skill level matches your challenge level of an activity, you tend to go into a state of what he calls flow. And you've definitely experienced this before. Think about an activity or a time when you just feel like you are vibing, you are totally focused on the thing that you are doing in a very good way, and you feel like you are in the flow. This is usually when your skill level meets the challenge level of the activity that you are doing. So let's draw that flow line on our chart. Draw a diagonal line coming up. Now, when we are doing an activity that's on that line, we are going to feel so good, energized, charged, in the flow. It is the best. If we are below that line, so if our skill level is greater than the challenge level, we're going to be bored. If the challenge level is way more than our skill level, we are going to be frustrated and stressed. I want to talk about all of these situations today, starting with the good stuff, starting with the flow. Draw a table that has 3 columns and 3 rows. Wow, I'm really getting into my graphing math vibe today. Each of these rows is going to represent an activity that you do that puts you in flow. Starting with, I know you want to talk about this, your passion or hobby. So in your first row, first column, write down the name of your passion or hobby. For me, it's rock climbing. And then the two prompts that I want you to take some time to answer are, what does it feel like when you are in the flow and doing this activity? And why do you think this activity puts you into a flow state? Next, let's talk about work or school. These are places where people tend to think that maybe they are stressful or less enjoyable, but most of us have an activity at work or at school that puts us in a flow state. So what is that for you? And then same two questions. How does it feel when you're engaging in this activity? And why do you think you enjoy this activity so much? Third column is your choice. Any other activity you want to talk about that puts you into flow, and same two questions. Now, take a step back and look at your chart. I hope you feel excited and happy and fulfilled when you look at this table. This is what life is partially about, just being in the flow and really enjoying it, getting better at things, being challenged. Like, this is some beautiful stuff that you have here. I want to talk about the other two parts of the flow chart and then a call to action. So we have 3 more journal prompts left. Let's talk anxiety. Anxiety is when the challenge is high and your skill level is low. Choose an activity that gives you anxiety and then trying to describe why you think there's such a mismatch here. The last section is boredom. This is when your skill level is very high and the challenge is low. Pick an activity in your life that you find boring and then explain why there's such a mismatch here. My final journal prompt for you is a call to action, and you have a bit of a choice. My question is, how can you bring more flow into your life? You could choose to look at your boredom or anxiety and do something to try and make more of a match. But also the reality is some things are just stressful in life and some things are boring, and that's okay. So if that's not the best option for you, you could also look at your table and these things that bring you flow and think about how you can get more of that in your life. All right, last we do affirmations. So Choose an affirmation, write it down, say it out loud to yourself. I'm so happy that you're here for my favorite planet and also a really fun topic. If you learned something today or enjoyed yourself, press the like button and hit subscribe. I will see you next time. Bye.